So it looks like Puma has done it once again. They've sent over another package with another collaboration sneaker that I can only assume is a collaboration with Nintendo, and that's why I've got all my Nintendo and Puma goodness set up behind me, because I figured it'd be a nice way to kind of tie everything together. Now, to be honest, I could be wrong, but I really hope that I'm not, because what Nintendo and Puma sent over last time was insane, and I'm really hoping that this is a similar package to that one. And if you guys haven't seen that video yet, make sure to click the link at the top of the screen, because it's definitely worth checking out. Also, if this is what I think that it is, shout out to Puma for sponsoring today's video, and also if you want to grab whatever is inside this box, the sneakers, make sure to hit up Snipes. There will be a link in the description below. So, without further ado, let's cut this guy open. Let's see if the thing that I think that it is actually what I think that it is. Because if it's not, I'm going to have to scrap this entire intro. It is what I thought that it was. Nice. Okay, so let's pull this out one at a time. There are two things in here, and if you watched the last video, you kind of have some idea of what those two things could be. But when I pull out the first thing, you're probably going to figure out what the second thing is if you follow Puma. But let's just jump into it. Let's grab the first thing. This is the Nintendo Classic Mini. This is the mini version of the Nintendo Entertainment System, which I actually have a full box version of right back there. I've been getting like really into retro gaming for some reason. I never actually owned an NES when I was growing up. The first real console that I had was the Nintendo 64 in Gator Green, which I was really stoked on. Then I got a Game Boy Advance, so it kind of progressed from there. I wasn't really old enough to have the NES, but I did play a lot of my friend's Super Nintendo. So I don't really have too many like nostalgic memories towards this console, but I love the idea of having nostalgic memories towards the console. That's why I bought one for myself right back there. I'm really excited for this mini version because it has 30 classic games on it, games which I've never actually played all the way through, so I'm super stoked to play them. They've got Super Mario Brothers, you've got Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, you've got Kirby's Adventure, Donkey Kong, Super Mario Brothers 3, Pac-Man, Metroid. There are 30 classic, like super classic games on this console, which I'm so excited to play. Let me know in the comment section down below if you were old enough to play the NES and what games you grew up with. I feel like that's such like a nostalgic thing for a lot of people. The same way that like Mario 64 and GoldenEye are super nostalgic for me, but I'm excited to actually play these. Like I said, this console right back here, I've had it, I've opened it, I did an unboxing on my tech channel if you guys want to check that out. The problem with that console is that I don't have the right connectors for my current TV, which is kind of a bummer, so I haven't played that yet, but it's kind of just a collector's item, so I'm keeping it back there in the box, even though it's been opened. So I'm really excited to have this to actually be able to play these games and experience them. I also have this Super Nintendo Classic Mini, another awesome console, and it's like the mini version of the Super Nintendo. So let's pop this guy open, see what we've got, and honestly, like, as soon as I'm done filming this video, I'm gonna play some games. Huge shout out to Puma and Nintendo for sending this over, though. I really appreciate this. So first thing inside the box, you've got your Nintendo Classic Mini Nintendo Entertainment System Startup Guide, which I'm not gonna read. And then you've got the console itself. But before we get to the console, let's take a look at the controllers. I believe the controllers are the same exact size as the original controllers. Yeah, they feel about the same size. Let's see. Ooh, look at that. This is like, for a lot of people, this is a nostalgia hit, I'm sure. I just love the classic design style of the NES. These controllers are so sick. And I always wanted the NES Game Boy Advance SP. That was a console I always wanted just because it looked so sick. I loved it. I also wanted the SP. I always had the Game Boy Advance, like the sideways version. I felt like that was more comfortable than the SP, but the design of the SP was just so much cleaner, and plus it had a backlight, which was like a pretty big deal. I was using a bunch of those off-brand worm lights, and they didn't work too well. But here it is. You've got the connector for the console, and you've got the controller. Let's see it. It's so much smaller than the actual console. I wish I could pull it out of the box to show you guys, but genuinely, like, this is tiny. This is really small. You've got two inputs right there for controllers. You've got the power and reset button. You've also got the faux game cartridge slot, and then some vents on the side. You've got your HDMI out and your DC in on the back. And that's pretty much it. Design-wise, this is almost like an exact scale replica of the console. It's missing some little doors and stuff on the bottom of it, but that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. And I think also it could have gotten even a little bit smaller. I know that the board inside here is just really tiny. I've been watching a lot of Spawn Wave, and he opened one of these up a while back when they first released. And so I've seen the interior of it, and I know they could have made it smaller, but I just love the size that it is. Honestly, I would have been fine with Nintendo just re-releasing the NES just in its original packaging, in its original size, just as a newer console. I know that would kill the resale value for a lot of collectors, but I just want to play it. Let's open up the rest of the box, see what else we've got. We've got the HDMI cable and the power cable. So this is it, the Nintendo Classic Mini. Looking very clean. I'm excited to fire this guy up after this video. Actually, I've never thought to do this, but the packaging is pretty similar to the original packaging. That's kind of cool to see. You've got sort of the stars in the background, and you've got the console floating in space. That is so sick. You know what? I'm gonna put this box in front of that console really quick. Look at that. That is so cool. I love that. Okay, so on to the next part of this crazy package. So obviously the next part of the package is a pair of shoes, but it's a pair of shoes that I've never seen before, and the packaging leads me to believe that it is Nintendo Entertainment themed. It's got an outline of the Future Rider on the top, you've got your nice space background, and then your Nintendo Entertainment System written on the top, as well as your Puma logo. The official name of this collaboration is the Future Rider NES Super Mario, and you've got the Super Mario logo right there on the back of the box and on the front of the box. This packaging is just so cool because it's kind of like a mix of the original Nintendo's packaging and also the colors from the console. The reds, the grays, of course you've got the metallic silver from the Puma logo. That's one thing I love about editing because I can edit out all the times that I just screw up. And it's a lot. I leave in a couple of them, but there's a lot of them. And then one thing I really love, which I realize isn't a big deal to a lot of people, but you've got the official Nintendo licensed product stamp or seal right there on the bottom of the box. That's so cool to see. It's just like one of those things growing up, you knew that the thing you were buying was dope because it had that seal on it. Like you could buy a lot of off-brand stuff, but it would just never work as well. Like you're buying controllers or whatever. It would just never feel right if it didn't have that seal on it. And so the fact that this Puma box has that seal kind of makes it feel more legit. I mean, it's obviously a collaboration, so of course it's gonna have that seal, but I just love that touch. Okay, so finally, let's open the box and see how this pair of sneakers looks. So you've got the paper that we saw in the other Puma Nintendo box from a couple days ago. It's got images or screenshots from a bunch of different Mario games. You've got Mario 64, you've got Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy, you've got a bunch of the older Marios that I don't know which one is which, to be honest with you, but there's Super Mario in there somewhere, Super Mario World 3. You've got a bunch of really cool stuff. That's awesome. I just love touches like that. I love details like that. So let's continue our journey inside this box and see what we've got. Okay, so, moment of truth. Here are the shoes. I'm actually really into these. Hold up. Wow, so this is the Future Rider NES Super Mario, and this is an incredible, incredible looking sneaker. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. I love the other collabs that they've done, I really do, but this one, by far my favorite. I love this. The color scheme is so sick and it's so on point, and I'm gonna get to all the little details throughout the shoe in a second, but I just want to take it in. Okay, so obviously the colorway of this shoe is inspired by the NES. I love all the little touches, like the different tones of grays that they use that were pulled from the console. You've got suedes around the mudguard of the sneaker, and then this darker gray mesh on top of the toe. You've got some really nice smooth tumbled leather also in that same gray with a little hit of suede right there on the lateral side with the Puma logo, as well as this nice little hit of red on the medial side, which adds a nice pop and also ties in that red to the shoe. And while we're talking about red, this red around the top of the midsole is such a nice touch. I love it. It's really, really clean. As well as this nice little red hit towards the back of the Puma logo on the lateral side, which comes in black leather, as you can see. Ooh, look at that. So on the tongue of the sneaker, you've got the Mario Brothers cover art, I believe from the NES cover right there. He's bashed through a wall with his flame balls. Fireballs, I think is what they're called. That's such a cool touch. You've got a white tongue, and then on the back of the tongue, you've got Super Mario Brothers on a tag. That's so sick. So on the insole of the shoe, is it the same on both? Oh, it's not. Hold up. Y'all, I gotta show you guys this. So on the insole of the shoe, you've actually got Mario fighting Bowser, which is so cool. It's like a screenshot from the game. You've got Mario on the left side and Bowser on the right side. You've got like your Mario lives or coins right up there. You've got the world 8-4. You've got time left. That's so sick. Man, now I feel like I gotta play Mario. Like right now, like plug in that console and play it. Another detail that I really love is the NES controller tag that's hanging off the side of the laces. That's a really nice touch. But I've got to say, my favorite detail of the entire sneaker by far are these little plugs on the lateral sides of the shoe and how they're styled like the power and reset buttons on the console. Honestly, it feels like the shoe was made to be an NES collaboration. I love it. I'm really, really into this. Seriously, shout out to Puma and Nintendo for sending over this awesome package. You guys absolutely killed it with this collab. I mean, with all the little details like the power and reset buttons, the screenshot on the insole of the shoe, the little cover art right there on the tongue, the Super Mario on the back of the tongue. I mean, this shoe is nuts. And just the colorway itself is also really clean. Like, gray, black, and red always goes together, but when it's tied together with something like the NES, there's just so much more nostalgia for a lot of people, and it has so much more meaning to it. But why don't we throw these on feet really fast, see how they look, and see if it's something that you guys want to pick up. So the Puma Future Rider NES Super Mario is available on December 4th at Snipes. You guys can check it out through the link in the description below for a retail price of just $90, which I think is an incredible price for such an awesome collaboration that comes with really solid materials. Huge thank you to Puma for sponsoring today's video. I really love this Nintendo collaboration. You guys are absolutely killing it. Make sure to grab it from Snipes. Again, there will be a link in the description below. But now I would love to know your thoughts on this collaboration and what NES classic game was your favorite or what console you grew up with. So make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.